Hey everybody, happy Friday, happy February 1st. This is Ray here. We're doing another live stream. So if you've been with us before, you kind of know the deal. It takes me a little bit of time just to get things set up once I start the ball rolling here. But we're going to be talking YouTube. We're going to do maybe some channel reviews, maybe some live tutorials, maybe some Q&A. I don't know. Whatever it's going to be all about YouTube. So just bear with me while I share this live stream into some Facebook groups so we get some folks here. I also need to get the chat up and running on my side. As per Crazy Enigma, welcome. Let me just pop out chat here. Just getting the last little tidbit set up. I had hoped to go live a little earlier today, but there were some things that had cropped up that were keeping me away. How's my audio? Is there any echo? How's the sound quality? Just want to make sure that this is something that's okay to listen to. As per usual, I got my two basic rules about these live streams. I'm not going to subscribe to anybody, and I'm not going to watch any videos. Why is that? Well, I don't want people trying to spend all the time in chat selling me on why I should subscribe to their channel. What I want to do is provide some useful advice that can get them more than just me as a subscriber, but hopefully tons of people as subscribers, and views and other growth metrics. And I'm not watching any videos because I don't want any content ID issues. I don't want anyone to think I'm trying to steal or host their content. I'm absolutely not doing that. And one video that's like a long play of a video game would take up all of our time. So we're just not doing that. But other than that, it's relatively freewheeling. Just getting the last of my social sharing here on Facebook done. There we go. Audio is great. Thank you, Crazy Enigma. So, yeah. Andre R. Memories, welcome to the live stream. Oh, I'm just going to turn off my speakers here just in case the video does autoplay. Don't want to capture anything. All right, so Crazy Enigma, I've looked at your channel recently, so I don't know if you had any requests. Was there, did you want me to take a look at maybe the settings on a video? I won't watch the video, but I could see like the title, description, and tags on a video of yours if you want. Hit it with my TubeBuddy. Is there a tutorial? Is there something you want to know how to do that maybe I could show you? Do you have a question? You know, a YouTube question, a question about what it's like to manage a Facebook group with 65,000 small YouTubers in it, which is sort of how I got started on this small YouTubers boost gig. I was a little bit delayed because somebody was messaging me on Instagram, of all things. They were bullying another member, and I unfortunately had to ban them. They're arguing that because of their particular identity, and I don't want to get into any politics there, but they basically thought that because they're in their mind a marginalized group, that they get a free pass to bully people, and I couldn't explain to them it doesn't work that way. Arcs Junction, welcome to the live stream. So Crazy Enigma, is there anything I can do for you today? And Andre R. Memories, you'll be up second, so just while I'm waiting for a response there, is there anything you would like? Will I be able to get a channel review today? Arcs, you're third on the list, so yeah, we can probably get to you. I'm going to probably be doing this at least an hour. How did you grow your group differently to your channel? That's a really cool question. I like that. Thank you. How did I grow the group? I didn't. That was the weird thing. The history of the group is I didn't create it. The four rules were, and the group was initially created in December of 2016 by a woman named Alexis. And then the following April, I joined, well, I joined almost within days of its creation, but I got upgraded to moderator status in the following April. And then I think by the end of that summer, she handed the group over to me because I was the most active moderator. And she liked the way I was running the group. So she wrote 4 basic rules, and it was an interesting experience because when she made me a moderator, she was very busy with things in her personal life. That's why she asked for help. But she didn't have time to mentor me or explain any nuances of the rules, so all I had to go by were the 4 rules. And I think in retrospect, this was a really good thing because basically my approach was, because I didn't want to screw up, I didn't want to do bad by Alexis, you know, was if the rules say no, then take action. And if the rules don't say no, then stay out of the way. And that's all I did. Between that and just making sure that I was on top of approvals, new member approvals and post approvals, very rapidly I became a moderator when the group was at about 1,400 people. And I think she handed the group over to me when it was around 14,000. And I was pretty much the active moderator at that time. I might have my timelines and numbers a little bit off, but that's sort of approximate. And so then when I became the administrator of the group, I kind of asked myself, I was like, well, it's grown so much, 14,000 was a lot, or 15,000, whatever it was. And so I was like, there's a formula here that works. And I think what it is, and also the way that I was running it was, don't let myself play God. Just stick to the 4 rules. And anything that doesn't clearly violate those 4 rules is fine, even if I personally didn't like it. So it's been a bit of a public square sort of thing. I don't think of myself as like a curator of content. I'm not. I'm a traffic cop. And so the strength of the group's growth has been in its members, because it's going to be good or bad depending on the people in it. Not much about what I do. I mean, I try to go in and I share information, like when there's a new announcement about YouTube, or I hear about a technical problem that they're trying to fix or whatever. I try to, engage with the members and inspire conversation. No worries, Andre, I haven't gotten to your channel yet, or whatever. So just let me know what you would like. If you want a channel review, me to look at one of your tags on one of your videos, a tutorial, a question you have, whatever. I'm just trying to talk about how I grew the group. So the group really kind of grew on its own, and my job was just to to provide good offices, as they would say in politics. So it was just get out of the way, and I like to think I did that fairly well. And every now and then I need to tweak the rules slightly for clarity, but not their intent. And that's why when people in the group are demanding a 5th or 6th or 7th rule because there's something that maybe they don't like. I mean, there's plenty I don't like in there. But I resist that because the 4 rules got us to 65,000 people in 2 years. And so that's a secret sauce I'm not going to mess with. If I can word it a little better so it's a little bit more clear, like when I talk about you need a description to get your post approved, right? Well, people have struggled with that a long time, and it takes a lot of time for us to manage on the back end. And so just recently I tweaked the wording to include something like, a description of what it's about. Because you could describe it as a video, but that doesn't tell anybody about what it is you're linking to really. It needs to be what it's about. So I was hoping that adding the word about in there makes it more clear. And so little things like that. So there's the pinned post in the group that I ended up putting lots of comments on to kind of explain how we interpret the rules, because a lot of weird things came up. But yeah, and then in terms of how I promote my channel, my personal channel, Vacation Impossible, I've got my little, you want to talk about promotion, I got this magnet that I got from Vistaprint right there. I put that on my door when I'm on a cruise ship, so people walking down the halls, maybe they'll notice it. At the very least, if I've had a few too many margaritas, I can find my cruise cabin a little easier with the magnet on the door. And so I've promoted it in so many different ways, but that's been active promotion. I'm active on Reddit and message boards and Facebook groups, and try to be active on Twitter and Pinterest and Vero, and I have Snapchat, but I don't know what I'm doing with that, Instagram, all sorts of things. It's a laundry list. In fact, when I post a new video, I have to go and follow this Excel sheet that lists out like all of my social media platforms so I don't miss something. In fact, I released a video early today. I still need to go through that list because I missed Flickr, I missed Pinterest, and I think there's a couple others and I know I haven't posted it to Vero yet. So like there's a list. So I find that really helpful. I recommend that for YouTubers, is that especially as your channel grows and you try to, one of the things I talk about on this channel a lot is try to lock down your username so people can't be imposters. We have imposters of both small YouTubers group, well, just small YouTubers. I don't have any Vacation Impossible imposters, thank God. But, so one of the ways that you address that is you go and you create the accounts and lock down the usernames across all the different platforms. So you have it for a long time and you control it, and so if somebody comes along and wants to be a fake version of you, they can't match the name perfectly. And so that's a way that you protect your brand and sort of your identity that way online, your online presence. So so as you do that, that can be a lot to keep track of because there's so many social media things out there. And so I find like an Excel file where you have like the username, maybe the URL that directly links to your account, and maybe a little clue about your passwords in case they're different, because different sites have different requirements. That might be something that's useful. I don't so much do the password thing because I'm worried about, if one day somebody got that file, all they'd be able to find out is where I am. Hey, click the link, no problem. Come check me out on all the different social media, no problem, right? Having including the passwords could be a liability, but that's a choice y'all make for yourselves and how you want to manage that. But I think it's that's sort of the short answer. And then there's this channel here, the Small YouTubers Boost thing, which came out interestingly. I created it a while ago because there were some imposters. There were some other groups. It all started with a Discord. Someone had created a Discord and was pretending to be me and was pretending that it was like the official Discord of the group. And Matthew Kraft had already created, by that point, I think, our official Discord. I don't know Discord. I've been in it twice. I don't know anything about it. I leave that totally to Matthew. I understand he manages it well. So he's got my total confidence there. But people would be like messaging me and they're like, oh, why aren't you, somebody was mean to me in the Discord. And I'm like, what Discord? They send me a link and it's not the one that Matthew Kraft had created. So I'm like, what the hell? And so I'm like, okay, I need to go out and lock down these usernames because people are starting to pretend to be us. The group was reaching a particular size that someone saw value or purpose for whatever reason in pretending to be us. And that's why I created this channel, was because, well, we're all about YouTube. If someone's going to pretend to be us, they're probably going to do it on YouTube, And so far, I don't think anyone really has on YouTube. They have on Facebook and Discord, and that's about it, thankfully. That's the only part where the imposters are. So, yeah. How much of a difference does the custom URL make? And it's good that you're consistent across platforms. That helps with things like the other platforms. This method of giving verification check marks. On YouTube, it's now tied to the silver play button, but on things like Instagram and Twitter, it's not a very clear process, and so having consistent usernames helps. How much does a custom URL make a difference? It depends. With a name like yours that isn't necessarily super searchable, just being honest, I don't know that it'll help on an SEO standpoint. Whereas my Vacation Impossible channel and Small YouTubers Boost, my Vacation Impossible channel has the word vacation in there. So I think that helps us with that word. And Small YouTubers Boost, more so the YouTubers probably, but also all of it put together if people are looking for us. So I think that helps. But I think actually the primary place that a custom URL really helps is it's so much easier to share the link to your channel. And it looks so much more professional. The channel link you probably have now probably has a bunch of like Java randomizer created characters to show up because that's how it goes. Yeah, that's really what it is I find it makes sharing so much easier. Those posts on the group of questionable quality, good or bad, everyone's opinion is different, but like drop your links. It's a lot easier for me to do that with a custom URL. I can just type it out rather than going to my page, copying it so I don't get it wrong, and pasting and all that stuff. I just type it out. It's nice and easy. And so it looks good. And if you want to put it on like a business card, in fact, let me just quickly grab something here. Because I got my first business cards prior to... and again, for you vloggers and live streamers, if you got props, use them. It's more visually interesting, I like to think. So I had some business cards that somebody had ordered for me for my birthday or something as a kind of a funny but also useful thing. And so it had on the back, it has the email, the Twitter, the Facebook, and the Instagram. But this was before I had 100 subscribers. So there's no YouTube URL on there because it wouldn't make sense to be typing out random characters. It wouldn't look professional. But if you've been watching things on this channel, I signed up in December for something called Promo Box from Vistaprint. And they send you, it's kind of like Loot Crate for brands. And YouTube channels can be part of that. So you tell them some information. You fill out basically a questionnaire about your brand or your channel or your product or your company, whatever you are, and they send you different things every month that their design team comes up with. So I didn't come up with this. It's using a logo that someone in the group designed for me, Wayne, who was very nice to do so. But you'll notice on this Square business card, I'm getting some glare there. I don't think that's focusing well, but it's got my custom URL on the bottom. So that works a lot easier for sharing and getting people to find you. So that, I think, is the real benefit of having that custom URL. So, thanks, Crazy. Those were a couple of awesome questions. I'm going to shift gears now and take a look at Andre R. Memories. He had requested a channel review, so we're going to dive in and do our first channel review of the day. I'm not, well, no, that would be disingenuous. I was going to say I'm not sure how much time I have. I'm going to go till sometime between 2:30 and 3 here on the West Coast, so of North America, Canada. So that means I've probably got a good minimum 35 more minutes, maybe upwards of an hour that I'll be able to continue spending with you fine folks. We'll just kind of see how my energy level goes and how things are going. So here we go. Andre R. Memories. I'm a South African moto vlogger. That's cool. That is like, I mean, it's unique. And that's a nice thing. When you get 75,000 small YouTubers in a group together on Facebook, which is where this all began, even just looking at YouTube in general, my information's about a year and change out of date, maybe a year and a half. But as of a year and a half ago, a third of all of YouTube was gamers and a third of all YouTubers was just vlogs. So the fact that instantly, right at the beginning, you say South African moto vlogger is fantastic because you really narrow it down. And I very quickly have a good sense of like the subject matter you're going to be covering. I know where you're from, I know what you're about, and that sort of thing. So it's going to be, you know, vlogs and videos about motorcycles from the perspective of someone in South Africa, presumably, or at least somebody who was probably born there at bare minimum. So that's great. A lot of information right off the top. Besides motovlogs, you will find drag racing, spinning, bike stuff, and other random content. I like that. That's actually a really good description. Excuse me, headphone users. Just need a glass of water. From my Spock glass. I'm a giant Star Trek nerd. I'm not going to apologize for that. Anyways, this is great. I normally talk a lot about like really cramming useful stuff at the beginning and SEO, and you're doing both very well. You could almost take out I'm a and just go South African motovlogger. If you wanted to get more space in there. Some other random content. I wonder about that. I think maybe if there were some specific things you could mention that might go over better. If somebody's like, oh, you also do skits, that's awesome. Or whatever else you might do. Sorry, squeaky chair, I need a new chair. But other than that, I mean, your description here is really solid. Your profile picture, very clear, communicates what you're about. So the only thing that's not like totally on point here, and maybe that's why TubeBuddy's giving the fair rating, is that the name doesn't tell me much about the channel, but everything else is great. And so, I mean, if you've got your custom URL, you're probably locked into that name, and although I'm not sure, it's coming up as user-ruiraf. I'm probably butchering whatever that was. I apologize. So, I mean, if you don't yet have your custom URL, then you might want to consider it. I don't know how much branding you have, having not gone into your channel yet. Yeah, that's kind of interesting. I did just quickly mention TubeBuddy, so just for people who don't know, TubeBuddy is a browser plugin, among other things. It's also a website and an app, a mobile app. But I'm using today TubeBuddy installed on Firefox, and it's a browser extension. There's free and paid version. There's a link down below if you want to get it for yourself. It's an affiliate link. This video is not sponsored, but I find it super useful. I went like hog wild, got myself the legendary, so I've got like the biggest package you can for that. But it gives me all these useful tools as I'm looking at channels. So if you see things that you don't have on your version of, you know, your desktop interface looking at YouTube, that's going to explain why. So anyways, let's look into Andre R. Memories. All right, got a channel trailer here. Welcome to my channel. Just a short intro for my channel. Don't forget to subscribe. So while your description for your group, for your page is awesome, for your channel, your description for your channel is awesome, the description for this video is lacking quite a bit. I would consider copying and it's actually fine and good to do this, things from your about page and put that in as the opening of your description here. Because when you use the same terms in a title, in a description, in meta tags, and then also on your channel tags and description and things like that, you get a lot of keyword alignment and YouTube really knows what you're about. So, so I recommend doing that. Welcome to my channel. There's a smiley face there. You can actually put actual icons in there, actual emojis, emoticons, whatever you want to call them. But none of the title is searchable. And yes, it's a channel trailer. It's not generally meant to attract traffic in that same way, but why not? It's just another video, right? The fact that you've selected as a channel trailer, you still want to get the views on that, and you still want that to hopefully lead to discovery of your content. So I would consider, welcome to, at bare minimum, welcome to my moto vlog channel. Bare minimum, do that. And then, you know, just a short intro for my moto vlog channel. Bare minimum, do that. And I think that would be better. It gives a little bit more information, and it makes it more searchable, and it aligns with your content and your other indicators that you're giving the algorithm as to what you're about. I really like the banner. That banner's pretty dang cool. I would have a couple suggestions. One, I rant about this often. You've got your Instagram and your Facebook indicated there, and you got the icons and everything, but it's not clickable because it's just part of an image as your banner. And on the bottom right, in the social links area, you have your Facebook and your Instagram where it is a link. So that feels redundant. I think it makes the image busier than it needs to be because there's already a lot of cool stuff going on with that image. It's got this great crisp, you know, center focus thing and this blur with in the background, because obviously it's a motorcycle going around a racetrack is what it looks like. And so it's this wonderful crisp image with this sense of motion behind it. And so there's a lot of good stuff going on there. But you've got like the Facebook, the text underneath the Facebook icon for how to find you there is a similar blue, so it's hard to read. And the red really kind of stands out with your Instagram handle, but I'm not sure that that's the strongest part of the image that you want to draw the eye to. And for example, given that it's red, well, reddish, it's kind of reddish pink, fuchsia, I don't know. I'm not a design expert or even like I'm maybe moderately competent, and I think that would be generous when it comes to design. But I'm a guy with opinions, and everybody is, and so it's just one guy's opinion, take it or leave it. But with the red there, red, to my understanding, kind of draws the eye. It's like in the first Matrix movie where it's like, did you spot the girl in the red dress? If the dress had been gray, I don't think it would have been as effective. So red really stands out as a color, and that can be overdone though. So the red that I'm seeing for your Instagram is competing for my eye's attention with the subscribe button. And I don't think you want that. So I would recommend removing those social things there because you have them in the social links. You don't need it as part of your banner. The only other thing I would suggest is the drop shadow that you have on the name in the banner is nice. I like it. I would shorten the distance between the drop shadow and the text, because it feels a little too far away. A big part of what you want a drop shadow to do, and this isn't strictly speaking necessarily a shadow because it's bright, but you want it to really highlight and make the image pop and crisp and easier to read and to see. But this is so far back that I'm not sure it's effectively doing that. It could almost be like creating a glow effect. Is maybe what you're trying to go for. But I would recommend reducing the distance between the drop shadow and the text. And see how it works. I could be wrong. That might look like, crap. I don't know. But maybe play around with that and see if maybe you might like that a little bit more. Maybe not. I don't know. But otherwise, and that's just me trying to offer suggestive feedback. But honestly, this banner is pretty damn awesome. So well done on the banner. I really like that. You got uploads, created playlists, and popular uploads. So one thing that I would consider as a suggestion, might not be right, depends on how good you're getting clicks. And given what I'm seeing here, maybe not so great. Like I'm seeing here in the uploads, your second to last upload was posted 2 weeks ago and has 4 views. So I'm thinking changing things up on how this is displayed is probably relatively low risk. So what I would recommend is have the uploads thing not be a vertical list, but be a horizontal list. That way you pack more videos into a shorter space that people can click on. And also when it's a horizontal list, it shows 5 videos. When it's vertical, it shows only 4. So it gives people more things to click on. Let me just go back to the search results for a second. Because yeah, you have 248 videos. And that's a substantial back catalog, which is great. I'm sure it serves you well and will continue to serve you well. And one thing that I would recommend also, as somebody else who has a pretty substantial back catalog, 400 and some odd videos myself, if you don't have TubeBuddy, I would recommend getting it for a couple of reasons. One, you can do bulk updates to old videos. So if you wanted to bulk add info cards, end cards, add things to the description across all of your 250 odd videos, you could do that really fast. Also, if there's old videos that didn't perform the way you like even this video from 2 weeks ago, if you go back with TubeBuddy and see how the keywords are ranking, it might give you some ideas about what keywords to remove, try some new things, what ones are working well for you that you want to keep. You can do keyword research, a lot of that stuff. So I think that would be really useful. I found it has helped my channel quite a bit. And I do have tutorial videos here on this channel, Small YouTubers Boost, that explain how to do many of those things, but there's so much to TubeBuddy that it's going to take me a lifetime to make videos about all of it. But I'm gonna keep working on it and ticking along. I just yesterday, late last night, uploaded a video about how you can use TubeBuddy while uploading a video, for example. And it's not expansive. I'm gonna have to do a part 2 one day, but it's got a lot of I think it's got the basic stuff and then a little bit above the basic stuff because it talks about demonetization audit and some other things. When people hear about TubeBuddy, they think it's just for keywords, and that is just that's the most well-known feature. It's a very useful feature, but there's so much more to it than that. That if you're only using the keywords, it's like you're barely using it, in my opinion. So anyways, you've got created playlists, which is interesting because this is an incomplete list in the sense that it doesn't fill out the space. Remember, the horizontal list shows 5 things, but there's only 3. So if you only have 3 created playlists, I would consider making each one of those their own horizontal row. because each one of them has at least 5 videos. And so instead of having a list of lists, I think having just 3 playlists is good. And you've got your popular uploads here. I see your most popular video has 119,000 views, so well done there. That's cool. So yeah, you've got and a video from just a year ago is 26K views at the number 4 spot. So that's pretty good. I'm just going to take a quick look at your playlists here. Now you have, what was it, 248 odd videos, but you only have 3 playlists. And so I think you might be underutilizing playlist opportunities here. And the thing is, videos can exist in multiple playlists. Only one can be the official playlist for that video. And when you play around with playlists, you can kind of see how to set that. But I would really suggest that all of your videos should be in some playlist of some kind. Even if it's just sort of a catch-all. Like, what was it? You had drag racing, spinning, bike stuff. So you should have a playlist for, you got drag racing, you got spinning, so bike stuff maybe. I'm not really sure what categories of videos you have that might make sense. But I think that that's really key. One of the things, again, just about TubeBuddy, when you're using it, when you're uploading or editing a video, it has something called the best practices box that gives you 12 different suggestions of things that you should do to maximize your video's chance at success. And one of those key ones is well, not needs to, but is recommended to be added to a playlist. Every video in a playlist of some kind. And that's the thing that a lot of YouTubers, a lot of small or new YouTubers, or maybe people who have a built-in audience and don't need to have every technological advantage, don't necessarily take advantage of, is playlists. They're often forgotten, but it can be a great opportunity. If everyone else is forgetting about playlists in your niche, but you're the one who knows about them and you're using them to maximum advantage, then you've got an advantage. And so let's take every advantage we can. A big part of why I put my time and effort into Small YouTubers Boost is I believe that YouTube should be a fair shot for everyone. And that it should be things like the quality of your ideas and your talent and your hard work and your personality and things like that that make you a success. Not whether you know a technical trick, not whether you know how to do playlists or do like but you need to know those things. YouTube has grown and it's gotten complicated, as anything that's large and successful will do. That's understandable. But I worry that it's gotten so complicated that it's creating a barrier to entry to people who do have the talent, who do have the great ideas, who are willing to put in the work. But it's just so confusing. And it's not that they don't have the technical knowledge, they just haven't seen it, you know. I was on YouTube for like, I don't know, 50, no, it hasn't been around that long, but many years, over a decade, let's say, and I didn't know how to schedule a video. And it's not hard, it's not complicated, it's the easiest thing in the world. I can show you right now. You go to upload a video and you see here where it says public, and that says privacy, right? So you're, let me just make sure that's actually displaying so you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, okay, so if you hover over it, it says privacy, and it's set to public. So you think that's about privacy, right? Scheduled. Scheduled has nothing to do with privacy, really. It's the moment it becomes public, I suppose. And so, like, I knew a decent amount about YouTube. I'm not a dumb person, I like to think. I mean, you can have your own opinion, I don't mind. But it wasn't until somebody mentioned, it's like, hey, it's on that drop-down box. I'm like, that's where they put it, right? You could be a talented, smart, hardworking person and not happen to have that specific piece of information. And I think that blows. So I'm here to try and, you know, blow the lid off that and give everybody their fair shot. That's why I'm here, in case you're wondering. I don't know that anybody asked. I haven't looked at chat in a bit. So continuing to look here, let's check out Chanalytics. This is a TubeBuddy tool I have a tutorial video about. It's very useful, and I'm honest about TubeBuddy. Like, when it loads, subscribers often don't load. You have to toggle it to something else and then back again to get that to work. But this contains a lot of useful information. So, for example, I can see your channel tag here. And so it looks like you've got some pretty good tags here. Looks like you're doing well. The one thing I'm noticing is that the tags are a little short, which is understandable, and if you could rank in them, that's fantastic. But the thing with small YouTubers is that we tend to need longer tail keywords to succeed. So, for example, I'll use this channel as an example. If you're just going after the motovlog keyword, right? That's pretty competitive. Even though it's, you know, less than a third of YouTube, there's quite a few motovlogs out there. But if you're going after the keyword South African motovlog, it's less competitive. Or Cape Town, so Cape Town's one of your keywords here. Cape Town motovlog. Then it narrows it even further. And so you might not have the same high search volumes, but you don't have the same high competition either. And so you can't I mean, small channels, I don't want to say they can't, but it's harder to compete against big channels on really small keywords, but it's easier to compete on the longer ones. And then maybe as you gain success, then you can start targeting some of the smaller ones as well when you've got that following. But the algorithm looks at so many things: views, subscribers, interactions, all that kind of stuff, watch time, retention, etc., that once you're starting to fire on those cylinders, yay, moto guy, metaphor, I think. I don't know, I'm not a motorcycle guy. But when you're firing on those cylinders, then you can maybe start to target the more competitive spaces and use the audience that you've built to propel you to that next level. It's just sort of general suggestion. So anyways, let's see here. You've got really good subscriber growth over the last month. There are some peaks and valleys here, which is interesting. So like very strong the 4th and the 5th, and from the 15th to the 19th, but you've had a couple dips here around the 9th and the 20th. So let's see. That's interesting. So I'm not seeing a corresponding relationship between views and subscribers. So I'm not sure exactly what that means, but what I would suggest you do is look at your YouTube analytics and look at the subscribers tab to see what that tells you about where you're getting subscribers from. Is it specific videos? Are there specific kinds of videos that are driving people to want to subscribe to your channel? And given that you're 655 subscribers, presumably you want to hit that 1K. Maybe you don't care about monetization. Maybe you do. Maybe you want super chat. Maybe you want some of the other things that kick in at 1K. Maybe you want the ability to make community posts. If that's the thing that you're going for, you might want to look and try to understand a bit more about what videos are making people subscribe to your channel. And if you do have the opportunity to focus your content or just promote those sorts of videos more, that could be helpful for you. I'm just going to take a look at when you've been uploading videos. Okay. So 3 videos in the last month, but I mean, you know, hey, we all got lives and things get in the way, and that's totally fine. And 3 is not bad. I'd say shooting for 4. Maybe set that as a goal for yourself in the coming year. Try to get 4 videos out every month, because then you can have about 1 a week. And then when a video is in its first 7 days on YouTube, it gets the new tag on it, which actually helps it appear higher in search and discovery, because YouTube's trying to figure out what that video is about. Try to see how the audiences react to it, where to show it. So always having at least 1 video with that tag is beneficial for your whole channel as a whole. One thing I've noticed, for example, is when I'll go a period where I won't upload for whatever reason. Maybe I'm traveling, or I'm sick, or life gets in the way, or I'm waiting on footage from my team, whatever it is. If I go to a period where I don't have a video come out, right, and then I have a new video come out, something interesting happens. My old videos start doing a little bit better. And so that tells me that the algorithm factors in newness of your most recent video, I think. It's a theory. With the algorithm, we don't know. It's all under lock and key. It's like the KFC secret sauce, or spices, or whatever they call it, the recipe. You know, how do they put the caramel in the caramel bar or whatever? It's like, it's proprietary information. The NDAs are probably ironclad, and, you know, Google would probably like kill your family if you shared the algorithm with somebody. I'm joking, exaggerating, it's a joke. And also the thing is that the algorithm changes itself. It's a machine learning algorithm, so it learns from its own successes and failures and rewrites its own code as a result. So Google might not even know. Alphabet might not even know. YouTube might not know. But I've seen this consistently. I put out a new video. That new video could bomb. That new video could just get like no views. It could get like 3 views. But all my other videos do a little bit better when that happens. And it normally comes out of things like recommended and search. So it tells me these things are these things are related. So getting a video out once a week is, I think, a good goal for channels to have that steady growth. So there's always 1 video that's tagged as new on your channel, and that actually helps how your other videos perform. It's admittedly a little weird. I'm going back to the homepage here. YouTubers I love, you've got that activated. It says popular channels. You know, you got BuzzFeed video and stuff like that here, 5-minute crafts. Toys and colors. Doesn't sound like that's aligned with your brand. So this module will flip over on its own when YouTube has a feeling that they understand what your channel's about very well. And when that happens, it will go to related channels. And that's when they'll start sharing probably other moto vlogs, or maybe the channels of companies of vehicles that you're driving, Toyota or something. So that's something to keep in mind. And one of the things that might possibly be holding back your growth, and I don't want to tell people what kind of content to make, but I'm seeing here like you've got an OBS tutorial and you've got a video about cute kittens. So it doesn't seem consistently on brand, and that's fine. You can absolutely do that, but be aware that you do that at your peril in relation to the algorithm. Like, it won't really affect how you appear on Google search results and Facebook and Twitter and Reddit and all those other things. No impact. But as it relates to searching on YouTube and recommended videos on YouTube, I think that those videos that are off topic can sometimes hurt a channel because it can slow down their momentum, because it's not what the subscribers necessarily subscribed for, and it confuses the algorithm. They're like, you're a moto vlog, but now I'm seeing all this kitten content. I don't know how to square that circle, so I'm just going to say popular channels and maybe not recommend you so much because I don't want to recommend content that people don't like. Is kind of what it does. It's a little cowardly that way, you could almost say. I mean, it's software, so I'm not insulting a person, but those are some things to factor in. And so you absolutely can do that, but just be aware that there may be a slight potential cost. And that's also part of why I'm talking about, like, on your channel trailer, using similar keywords as in your channel keywords, your description, and other things. So there is that consistency that the algorithm, this unthinking machine, can be like, every time he posts, it's about motovlogs. Every damn time, he's definitely about motorcycles. I'll show them to people who watch motorcycle videos. That's probably what you want if you want the algorithm working for you. It's interesting. Like Pat Contry, Pat the NES Punk. He's a YouTuber I'm a big fan of. I go to see him every October at Portland Retro Gaming Expo, and he does a bunch of different videos. He has like the Flea Market Madness. He's got Ask Frank. He's got Pat the NES Punk. He's got a podcast and different things he does on his channel. And they're all loosely around video games, not so much Ask Frank, but everything else is retro video games. And I was at Portland Retro Gaming Expo in October, and I was attending his panel, and he says, you know what? If all I did was Flea Market Madness, if all I did was go to flea markets and buy video games and make videos about that and put one out every single week, I'd have 1 million subscribers. He only has 250,000 right now. He's like, I would have 4 times as many subscribers and I'd have a whole lot more money. But artistically, I'd be frustrated and I wouldn't be happy. So that's a choice everybody's got to make for themselves. And so when people talk about consistency on YouTube, it's not just about an upload schedule. Sometimes it's about consistency of what your content is about. So take that or leave it, but hopefully it equips you to make good decisions for yourself. That's interesting. Your Twitter link is not showing up here. I think you can, if you click edit when you're on your about page, you can set it so your Twitter will show up there as well if you would like it to. Remember to subscribe. Subscription Center. That's an interesting link. I'm not well versed in that way of formatting a link, so I'm not sure super effective it is. You got over 500,000 views. That's awesome. You've been around since 2007. Relatable. My Vacation Impossible channel, I think 2006, something like that. We didn't really start posting until 2008, though, so old school. Respect that. If you're still reading, what you waiting for? Subscribe to stay up to date to when I post. So the sentence structures there is a little awkward. If you are still reading, what are you waiting for? Subscribe to stay up to date when I post, something like that. That would be more proper English, and the I at the end there should be capitalized. It sounds like I'm being nitpicky, and maybe I am, but hey, if it looks slightly more professional, if that makes one more person subscribe because you make that one small little change, it's not a bad thing. So I understand what you do. I get a bit of a sense of how you do it, kind of. I mean, I don't know if your motovlogs are funny or not, or do you do reviews, or is it just action, or what? But the one thing that I really don't see here is why you do it. So I would consider adding, if I were you, I'd recommend adding another paragraph here and talk about why you do this. You've made over 200 videos. You've got over 500,000 views. Why did you do this? Why do you put in the time and the effort? You could be playing video games or riding your motorcycle or watching Netflix or whatever else you might want to do. But you spend your time on this. That's a choice and it's effort. Why? Why is this something that you put your time into? What are you trying to accomplish? How do you want the world to be different because of what you're doing? What do you want people to get out of your videos? And if you can find a why that your audience can identify with, a cause. Like earlier I said, why am I doing Small YouTubers Boost? Because I think everyone should have a fair shot at YouTube. That's a why that I think people can get behind. And it also, I think, explains really quickly to them, hopefully, what this is all about and what I'm trying to do. I'm not here to make myself feel awesome and get my face out there and all that kind of stuff. I'm trying to help people here. I'm trying to get my face out there on my other channel. Kind of. It's really more about getting people to travel. But that's something that I think they can identify with and they get it right away. And so if it was just me, and if every 5 seconds I was saying subscribe, and every second I'm like, click my affiliate link, you would assume things about my why that may or may not be accurate, and they wouldn't be, I think. Oh, he's just out to, make money or something. It's just not why I'm here. Or whatever. It's about his ego or some other thing. But, and so those are generally like, they kind of get your back up a little bit, those sorts of assumptions. And I'm not saying anyone would make those sorts of assumptions about you at all, but in my general experience, the human mind's a very powerful thing. Absent information, it goes to kind of like the scariest thing you can think of. I think evolutionarily speaking, it's how we have survived as a species. We imagine the worst absent information so that, maybe there isn't a tiger on the other side of that bush, but at least if there is, I'm kind of prepared. And the one who is prepared survives, propagates a species. So don't let them speculate. Just tell them why you do what you do. And so they won't speculate possibly in a more negative light or inaccurate to what you're all about. So that was a relatively in-depth channel review. I think I did a little over 20 minutes there. Let's see what's happening in chat. Some other people joining us, talking keywords. I got so many great tips from this channel. That's awesome. I am Black Cloud Gaming. Thank you. Always try to use his tips. I'd love for some feedback. Yeah, we'll see. You're actually live streaming right now. Streamception. His tips have helped me a lot. Thank you. That is awesome to hear. That really makes me feel like it's worth my time and worthwhile, that it's working for people. That's fantastic. Well, if you have a change, I have a gaming chat. Check mine. Yeah, I'll see how many I get to. I don't have a whole lot of time today. How have I been? I've been pretty good. Yeah, not bad. What was it? A week ago, I was... Yeah, this time last week I was throwing up from food poisoning, so I'm doing great compared to a week ago. Thanks for asking. That's awesome. There was some stress in the group over the week, but it's gotten a little bit better. Actually, one thing that came at just the right time is this fad of the assumption challenge. I know people have a lot of different feelings about it. In fact, Achilles Melee messaged me the other day, and he's like, "I'm a little worried that the assumption challenge is making YouTube narcissistic," and I'm like, "It's YouTube. The first 3 letters is you. Like, it's inviting you to be at least a little, I think. Like, that ship sailed ages ago." But I actually really enjoyed the assumption challenge because, for one thing, it's like a more positive or potentially more positive version of, what is it, the roast me challenge or whatever. And I really... I like storytelling. I like writing. I have a vlog, vacationimpossible.tumblr. Not a vlog, a blog. I guess I have a vlog too, but I'm on Tumblr and I write a blog there, vacationimpossible.tumblr.com. And I talk about a whole bunch of different things. I was talking about neuroscience the other day because I've just been obsessed with it for whatever reason, from a marketing standpoint almost. Anyways, so people were posting their pictures and I was kind of having fun. I'm like, let's take it seriously. What can I say about this person that... Like, what is my gut, my first reaction, and how can I make that into a bit of a story and try to be a little unique? So I was having a lot of fun with that the last day or two, and that was a really nice palate cleanser because we had a lot of bullying issues in the group, and so I had to tweak the wording on the rules. I had to ban some people, and I got a lot of hate messages, and that was unpleasant. But then along comes this fad, and it's taking something that was like almost entirely negative, roast me, because it's like insult me, right? And so it's like the new version where it's just the assumptions that could be good, bad, or neutral, and it was just a lot of fun. And so there was a lot of activity in the group. People posting their pictures, having a good laugh. I thought it was great for the community. I'm not going to make one of those videos myself. It's just not my kind of content. I don't really watch that content or make that content, but I really like helping people themselves create it with my assumptions and stuff like that. So I thought that was really cool. I'm glad that that came along. For me, it was just the right thing at the right time. Even though I'll probably never watch the videos. Maybe I'll get some shout outs along the way. I don't know. Let's see. Who's next? Arcs Junction. I think you wanted a channel review, but let me just check. Oh, yeah. Will I be able to get a channel review today? Yeah, you will. We're doing it now. Arcs Junction. Okay. I was about to be a little critical of the profile picture, but then I saw the beginning of the description, health, food, and fun. And so that I can kind of get it. Looking at your profile picture in chat, I couldn't tell what that was at all because of how small it shrinks the profile picture down to. I had no earthly idea what it was. Looking over here, I can see that it's somebody with a hot cup of hot chocolate or coffee, a laptop, and what looks like... at first I thought it was like the branch of a Christmas tree, but I guess maybe it's just a potted plant or something. So Arcs Junction, health, food, and fun. This is what my channel is all about. I'm a pharmacist and have been a medical editor and writer. Food, this is cool. This is awesome. We're getting some unique channel concepts today. I'm enjoying this. I'm digging this. I would drop the phrase, this is what my channel is about. You don't need it. None of those words are searchable. Just go, health, food, and fun. I'm a pharmacist and have been a medical editor and writer. That feels like, okay, yeah, I get it. I get it. Food is my, and I'm curious what comes after that. But if you take out, this is what my channel is about, you can use the space better to more of what you wrote after food is my ... will display. And I think that's more likely to entice people. So 20 videos, 161 subscribers. Let's dive in. Okay, so you've got just the one line here. With 20 videos, that's probably enough videos that you should be able to have at least maybe 3 lines here, I'm thinking. So uploads, popular uploads, and at least one playlist. You do have some playlists here. So health and food, fun with my kids. I think health and food is probably the more broad appeal, but that's just my personal opinion. I'm not a big fan of like family vlog channels like Watch Us Go to Walmart and stuff. I'm like, I don't get why people would spend their time watching that. I don't get why people would spend their time creating it. That's just my personal taste. I'm not crapping on other people. You can all like what you like and make what you want to make. You know, if everyone liked what I liked, then my niche would be super competitive, and I don't need that. But I would think health and food is more broad appeal, particularly this time of year, more so in January than February, I suppose. February's getting into Valentine's Day and that sort of thing, not so much the self-improvement. Ooh, I have shopping I should do. Oh. Anyways. And so, I mean, everyone at one time or another in their life is concerned about their health, and everyone needs to consume food, so it's pretty broad appeal. So that playlist I would also put on your homepage. So uploads, the health and food, and then popular uploads is what I recommend. And the cool thing about uploads and popular uploads is that they auto update. You don't have to do anything. When you upload a new video, it automatically puts it at the front of that and kicks them all over. When one video overtakes another in views, then that all updates in real time. So you'll have a dynamic channel that'll look a little different when people come to it, depending on what you've done. So that's fine. I think that would be good. Banner's pretty good. Can't really tell what this is a picture of. Is it a slide with snow in it? Is it, I don't know. Is it the inside of somebody's body? Like, I don't know what I'm looking at. But, you know, the text is clean, crisp, easy to read. The line breaks, well, that's not the right word, but, you know, the thing between food and health, the thing between health and fun, whatever you call those, you know, it's right above the enter key. It's like it's the shift backslash instead of just backslash. Whatever that's called. I don't know the name of the character. Because of how this is formatted, it's hanging low. Normally when those appear in line with fonts, it will look a little bit taller and like it'll go above and below the thing, and it's kind of more clearly a break. But here they kind of look like L's or I's or something. So from a style standpoint, I had to look at it for a little bit before it sank in that, oh, those are breaks. So my one suggestion there is the thing that separates the topics of food, health, and fun, which I think is good. It's nice and concise. But you could turn those into asterisks, make the lines a little longer, make them slashes, something. Maybe the double lines that you've got on the side of the banner, but something that makes it a little bit more clear that those are breaks, not letters themselves, just from a design element. You're on Pinterest, which is smart for this kind of content. You know, you probably get that weekly email. It says, like, how many impressions your pins have been getting. My vacation channel gets anywhere between 100 and, like, 1,300 in a week. I don't get a lot of traffic from it, but my content's out there in some form for some reason. I don't know how to close the deal with Pinterest. They got Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. That's all good. Career in pharmacy, yes or no? Yeah, that's pharmacy as a career. That seems like a really great idea for a video. I think that would have broad appeal. It's just something about the thumbnail isn't landing with me. I think there's a couple of things going on here. The font isn't scaling super great the way that it looks. So one thing that I recommend is, depending on if you have a font you're trying to use consistently, I recommend Bebas or Bebas New. They are free fonts that you can just Google and install onto your PC. And, you know, YouTubers use them a lot. It must have been almost a year and a half ago now. I was flying back from Honolulu, and I got to the airport really early. because of a complicated story. And we had lots of time to kill at the Honolulu International Airport. And so this was September of 2017. And 2017? Yeah, 2017. Anyways, so I'm like, oh, I got a lot of time to kill. You know, they had some Wi-Fi and stuff, but I'm like, I'm going to be spending like hours, most of a day basically at the airport, and then I'm going to be on like a 4 or 5 hour flight. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to kick it old school. I'm going to make like it's like the 90s or something. Go buy some magazines. And I bought like Scientific American or something like that, and they had an edition that month. It was about YouTube and video production, and that's where I first heard about the Bebas font. And so the lovely thing about the Bebas font is that it scales very nicely. So even when you shrink it down, it's still fairly legible, unlike, say, a cursive font or like Times New Roman or Arial or some other thing. It scales really well. So for thumbnails, I use Bebas exclusively now for the most part. I might add a little brush font for like highlights and extra words, but the core words I want people to read, I use Bebas or Bebas New. So I think it might scale better, and it's got a stroke on it, and I feel like the stroke is a little too thick, and I think it would also benefit from a drop shadow. So that's for the text. For the picture, you know what I think it is the person should be wearing a white coat. That's a person in a suit. That could be any career. It's a very generic image. If it was someone who looks more like a pharmacist or a doctor even, or a nurse, then I think that would feel more appropriate to the topic. And then at a glance, because you got to get people as fast as possible, at a glance it would be more clear what it's about. Got some videos on zoo animals, which is probably under that fun category. And then treat arthritis pain naturally. That's interesting. So the health benefits of turmeric for arthritis pain. That could be a really good, important video. It's like 3.5 minutes, which isn't a huge time commitment. And if it talks about something that makes people who suffer with arthritis have a better time of things, that could be a huge value to people. So just thinking about that, what I would suggest thumbnail-wise is whatever it says under turmeric, the Howman Flowen, I can't read it. I just can't read it. So for one thing, the text under that line underneath turmeric is too small. So if it's not critical, I would remove it because it can't be read and at this resolution, and it takes away from the image. If it's important, make it larger and clearer. But I think you could probably do without it because it's all about enticing people to click. And I don't know what it is, but I don't know if it's going to entice people more likely to click. So I would do that for a cleaner image. And the other thing is that text is running into the time code. And so everyone watching, if you don't already know, or just, I need to remind myself of this all the time, you design your thumbnail and then you put it up on YouTube, and then the stupid time code ends up in the bottom right-hand corner. So you got to remember that the bottom right-hand corner, don't put anything too critical or busy, because the time code at different resolutions will take different percentages of that image. And so everyone just remember that bottom right-hand corner is like, YouTube's calling dibs on it. So don't worry too much about what you put there. But yeah, no, I think that's great. I think the font on treat arthritis pain naturally, it is at the smaller end of what would be legible. And so I think increasing that font even just a little bit, so that the largest line, which is naturally, fills up, it goes as far to the right as it does to the left of the blue strip. If you could get it to that level, then it would be easier to read at more resolutions, and it would get the message across faster. So that's like some thumbnail tips there. Playlists. Right, we looked at that. Channelytics. Let's take a look. What am I doing for time? I think this might be my last channel review. I have a lot of errands and things I need to work on, so I apologize. This is probably going to be a shorter broadcast, but I did do 4 hours last weekend, 2 sessions of 2 hours, so, you know, but we'll hit an hour here probably, at least. So yeah, you've got some good channel tags here. Health and food separately. Healthy food is its own. Some good stuff there. Longer tail, if you could do longer tail keywords, might be a good idea, combining more things. Not to replace necessarily what you have, but to supplement it. Let's see here. So your subscriber growth, you had a bit of a spike around the 18th. Did you have a corresponding increase in views? Oh, no, that's me. Yeah, there was a bit of an increase in views around that time. Were there new videos that came out? There were. So you were kind of getting probably a little momentum off of these 2 videos in 3 days thing. So that's pretty good. So, I mean, my advice from earlier, check, where your subscribers are coming from is generally a good idea. But it's a direct relationship. More videos equals more subscribers, especially early on, is really the way it goes. Roberto Blake says you need a substantial back catalog of like potentially as little as 100, as many as 1,000 videos before you really start getting some of the momentum there. And I don't know, that kind of speaks to me a little bit. And so one of the things, especially, having just come out of January, everyone's talking about setting goals. And in YouTube, we're always setting goals for ourselves, good and bad. The goals that I'm trying to include in this new year and focus more on is content creation goals. Because you set a subscriber goal and you don't really control that. It's kind of up to fate and luck, and you can help it, you can work it along, but you don't have direct control. Same thing with views. Very hard to control if you're going to get views or not. But how many videos you put out, you have a lot more control over. I mean, depending on, the needs of life, you get sick, you have to work extra hours at the day job, whatever happens. Somebody needs you for something, but to a much greater control than views and subscribers, you have control over the ability to create videos. So setting a goal of creating 50, 100 videos in a year, something like that. Maybe fewer than that. Just saying, or 4 videos a month. Good goal. 4 videos a month. And it's something you can control. And you can really take credit when you hit it. Because you could get a bunch of subscribers and a bunch of views because some famous person happened to tweet you out, or the algorithm just really favored you for a period of time, or these things that are largely just the randomness of life. And so, yeah, okay, your content was enough to get them to subscribe and maybe, whatever, but at the same time, it's not fully something that you've accomplished solo necessarily. Maybe someone else, a family or a friend, or somebody in a Facebook group or who knows what, shared your video because they loved it so much and they told their friends or something. It's almost like they deserve part of that credit too. So that's just something to think about. Hey, we're a featured channel. Well, thank you. That is awesome. I greatly appreciate that. That is very solid of you. So anyways, yeah, I think content creation goals, and I'm speaking generally here, not just about this one specific channel, is something that we should all try to include in our 2019. Let's see here. Oh, Crazy Nim has only seen one Star Trek movie. Which one was it? If it was 1, 3, 5, Insurrection, I don't blame you for only having seen one. Would you recommend Crazy Enigma or Reese Kippix, which is your real name? I generally shy away from real names. I mean, it's a little tricky because, real names, there could be other people with the same name. It could be good and bad because it could be harder to kind of copyright. But it also could be easier for someone to say, like, it's just my name, dude. Like, you can't blame me for having the same name as you. But my concern more is about privacy. I, grew up in a time when, the internet was fairly new. And I remember when Wired was still a relatively new thing, and they had this article that they wrote called Security by Obscurity. And it was like, people can't find you if they don't know your real name. And that's why it was like explaining to people this new internet thing, why people used handles, this holdover from like BBSs and stuff back in the day. And probably prior to that, like ham radio and shortwave and CB and all that stuff, they call signs. It's been an evolution, and like now we call them probably usernames or whatever, channel names, etc. And so like I don't use my last name practically ever, except reporters always want to use my full name. So what can you do? It's like, well, I'm not going to say no to the article. So, but generally speaking, because you never know, there's unfortunately unbalanced people out there. They could love you or they could really hate you. And if either of those directions goes too far, they might not appreciate boundaries. Like earlier today, I was getting some messages on Instagram from people about this Facebook group stuff. And that's like a little pushing the boundaries. Not too bad, but so that kind of stuff, I do get a little nervous because this is this dream / nightmare scenario that I kind of throw out there. Is like you're asleep and like Jimmy Kimmel mentions your channel or something while you're asleep, and you wake up to 1 million subscribers. And so like while you're at your day job, while you're asleep, while you're on vacation or on a plane or on a cruise ship, that's what I do. And then you come back and like maybe you've suddenly blown up, and suddenly this fame just got dropped on you, and it wasn't something you were able to manage a slow and steady growth on. And so now you just got to deal with the fact that maybe everyone recognizes you. What if you had to deal with that tomorrow? Be a little crazy. And so one of the things I do is I take comfort in the fact that, I never mention where my day job is. I never really mention my last name. I try to, I try to establish some boundaries. Like, for example, I don't have Facebook Messenger on my phone. And this was a choice I made for a couple of reasons. For one thing, I don't like Facebook making us have two programs on our phones. I don't like the user interface. I find it obtrusive. But more than all of that, because I'm the admin of a Facebook group with 65,000 small YouTubers, I get an insane amount of private messages, and a lot of them are really abusive. And so I only expose myself to my private messages on Facebook. Probably could use better words than expose myself, but you know what I mean. I only encounter private messages on Facebook when I choose to. When I sit down at a desktop computer, sometimes my tablet, but I prefer a desktop for ergonomic reasons, and I click on that little messenger icon, and then I start seeing what the messages are. And like maybe I'll work my way through them and reply to them and stuff, and then like maybe it'll get to be a little bit much, and I'm like, I need to take a break from this. Because sometimes I'll have upwards of like 100 messages waiting for me on Facebook Messenger, and so that's a boundary I've established for myself. And also like notifications on your phone and stuff like that as well. As you get potentially larger, like I've been giving thought to no longer receiving emails when someone subscribes to my channel. Part of me is like, though, but what if someone really awesome subscribes to my channel one day? I want to know, depending on their privacy settings, of course. So I still receive those emails. But like I used to get notifications on Twitter, for example, the Twitter mobile app. I used to get notifications every time somebody liked a tweet. And I had a couple tweets that they didn't really go viral, but they got engaged in some like serious conversations. My personal Twitter account, there was like I got involved in some political conversations because that's the only place I really talk about that kind of stuff. Not on YouTube ever. So it was like I turned off the notifications of everyone clicking like and all the retweets. And so I get my notifications about mentions, but not the other things. And so that's gradual, right? And so I kind of, I can kind of titrate or control the tap. I can turn it down or up depending on, you know, is it going to be like drinking from a fire hose? Because that can be too much. And so I think by not using, you know, too much of your, like people know that my name is Ray and I'm in Vancouver, but beyond that, so I can kind of choose and control it to a degree. And so that's part of the risk, I think, of using like a full name, which is what I would recommend against. Because like people, I get friend requests from like random people from the group on Facebook, and here's what I do. I don't know if this makes me a jerk or not. Judge for yourself. I get a friend request from somebody I don't know. I accept it, and then I immediately invite them to like the page for my channel. It's like, hey, you know, they're adding me as a friend because they see some advantage in it, so I'm going to get mine too. And I've actually grown the following on my channel, my Facebook page for my channel relatively well using that approach. Nobody's gotten mad at me for it yet. Some people send me an invite to their own thing, and I'm like, you started this. That's a decline. Also because mostly it's stuff I'm not that interested in. It's like, you know, gaming in Urdu. I'm like, I don't speak that language. No, thank you. But that sort of thing. And so like sometimes it will mess with friend recommendations for my friends and family because I've got these sort of random people that I've never actually met face to face at all on my friends list. And so every now and then I need to go and I purge that and just unfriend people I've never met face to face. It's nothing personal, but also sometimes those people don't appreciate boundaries and they're like, oh, I see you're friends with Ray. Ray didn't answer my message about something. I'm going to message you. That is crossing a boundary that is absolutely not okay. So, you know, for your thought there, Reese, I'm thinking like, if it was Crazy Enigma Reese, Reese Crazy Enigma, Crazy Reese Enigma, something like that, where maybe you use your first name and part of a handle to make it unique, because there's a lot of people named Reese out there, particularly I imagine in the UK and Wales. And so like a combination might be a good way to go. But I would say you can use either your first or last name, but I would really caution people against using both. Also because there's like social hacking where someone might try to get access to your account for Twitter or whatever. There was this great story, God, it must have been a year and a half ago now, that I read, an article I read. Somebody had got the letter H as a handle. That's not sign language. That's just me making an H. I don't know sign language. I know a little finger spelling. That's K. Anyways, somebody just got the letter H. And so it's at H. That was the whole username. And so like a single letter username on Twitter is worth like tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars apparently. And so they had been considering what they wanted to do with it. Are they going to build a big brand around it? Are they going to want to sell it? What were they going to want to do? You can, you know, consider, let's put aside the ethics of camping on usernames for a moment, especially for the purpose of reselling. But putting that aside, the person had something valuable. And so some people were trying to get it from him so they could sell it. So they called, they found out he had linked to his website. And so his website was hosted with like Blue Note or GoDaddy or some other place. I don't know who they were hosted with. And so somebody calls up and says, oh, it's not accepting my password to the website. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry, sir, I can't give you that information. You know, or no, they first off, they start by saying like, can I get your full name, please? Like, that's one of the security checks. So your full name is one of those security checks that, like, you know, some place could do if someone's trying to recover an account or something. So anyways, the way that the guy ended up doing it, because the web hosting company did an investigation, figured it out. So so the guy calls back to the web hosting company, and so he's like, oh, yeah, can you transfer me to accounting? I'm sorry, I dialed the wrong local. My phone's all messed up. Can you just transfer me? And so the person who sees this external call is like, oh yeah, sure, boom, transferred. Now it looks like an internal call that's going between two locals in the company, right? Oh, hey, this is me from so-and-so. I just wanted to inquire about the billing address for this guy. He's saying his bills are being sent to his neighbor. Can you tell me what address we have for you know, Bob Jones or whatever? And they're like, oh yeah, let me look it up. No, this is his address. And they're like, oh, no, that's correct. That's weird. Thanks for helping me out. Now he's got the name and the address. Then he calls in and does it again with another department and another person and another person. And he gets tiny little pieces of information every step along the way that he eventually compiles, that he calls in and says, hi, I'm Bob and I'm ready to pass my security check. He did it, and then he was able to get, I think they gave him the existing password or something to his website, and then he got control of the website, which also gave him control of the email that was on the domain for the website. Then he goes to Twitter and says, reset my password. The email goes there, he gets it, and he stole the username. And that's how it happens. So, I mean, I don't want to sound paranoid, but there are instances out there where, I mean, you know, and that's the thing about YouTube. Hey, maybe we're a little narcissistic and we share things about ourselves and we talk about ourselves. But that's why I think that privacy is just something that you do kind of want to keep in mind about, because if you become a success, there's value in that, and other people might want to take that value from you. And the last thing I want to see is your hard work going away. That's why we don't allow sub for sub in the group, because channels get shut down for that. I don't want your hard work going down the drain. So that was a bit of a diversion, but I think it's something that's good to think about. Peak time, welcome. I'm just about to wrap up, I'm sorry to say. I've got some errands I need to run. So sorry that this was a shorter broadcast, but thank you all for joining me. And what was I going to do? Let me just quickly check chat here. Okay. Yeah, no, okay. I think I'm relatively caught up. So unfortunately, we'll be ending the show. You will be able to rewatch this whole thing probably in about 20 minutes time after it after the live stream goes down. Then YouTube does its processing and then it becomes available to rewatch. So thanks for that. So do subscribe so you can catch our next live stream. This one was semi-scheduled, but last weekend they were surprises. So have notifications turned on, because we go chronologically from chat. The earlier you join the live stream, the more likely I can get to your tutorial question or channel review. So thanks for joining us. And because I am Vacation Impossible, I have a challenge for you. So your challenge, if you choose to accept, your mission, if you choose to accept it, is to sit down and actually write out a content creation goal for your channel. About how many videos you're going to create over a certain period. 4 videos a month, 50 a year, whatever it is. Set a content creation goal for your channel and tell one person. Tell at least one person that you know in real life, so that there's a chance that they might follow up, hold you accountable, ask you about it, maybe offer to help. But that's your challenge if you choose to accept it. Set a content creation goal for yourself. X number of videos over a certain amount of time. Go out and tell one person. And I hope that works well for you. Thanks very much for tuning in. Look forward to seeing you next time. We'll also see you on the Small YouTubers Boost Facebook group. And yeah, thanks so much. Hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. This stream will self-destruct in 5 seconds.